Even before the pandemic, people were still struggling with housing, we're still struggling with wages, we're still struggling with health-related problems.
Some of the most marginalized communities across the state of California that helped the rest of us during the course of the pandemic were most exposed to the virus. They stocked our shelves, they picked our food, they drove those buses, they showed up in hospitals.
When the pandemic hit, they didn't exactly know where they can get resources, but they had a vision of how those resources should be getting to people. We're not just doing outreach, we're also building a community.
At Sierra Health, our goal is really creating deep, meaningful, and authentic relationships with community-based nonprofits around social justice and racial equity, particularly as it relates to health. One of those groups is known to us as CAPS, which is a coalition advocating for pesticide safety. And while the focus is usually around pesticide exposure to COVID is not all that different. Exposure to it can be harmful to your health. There are ways to protect yourself. There's a level of advocacy that's needed to gain access to the resources you need to actually do so. Their work now around COVID really builds off of the work that they've done in the past. To go into communities, to knock on doors, to meet people where they are.
Community empowerment at the local level looks like recognizing and acknowledging that every community resident has an expertise. They know the situations that each of these families go through, so they are aware of how to approach that particular community resident or family.
Hoy ese día en la reunión que tuvimos de Familias Unidas de CAP, estábamos hablando cómo llegar a la comunidad para poder ayudarles con las vacunas. Y somos voluntarias. Y si luego me cobras Mi prioridad ahorita es poder darle información a esas familias. Estamos invitando a la comunidad para que se haga y se ponga la vacuna. La mayoría de la gente sí se convence. Gracias. Hasta luego. Y sentimos que nuestra comunidad está cambiando a estar en este grupo.
When they show up and knock on the door, people are more likely to answer. And when they convey messages, those messages are just more trusted. You need to have a mix of strategies because people are facing a mix of challenges in their lives. Our work is about a better future. For equity and sense of justice that will come out of this, that for all those communities who have suffered, that will continue to focus on helping them rebuild in ways that allow them to be as healthy as they could possibly be.
Vamos con mamá, córrele, vente. Vamos, el guagua. ¿Vas a ir a ganar el guagua? Ok.